Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to take a look at the astrological energies from February 16th until February 23rd. As we'll see the sun enter Pisces, and we now have Mars and Venus traveling together into the middle of March. Mercury has re-entered Aquarius. And we'll have a beautiful connection between Jupiter in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus at 11 degrees. There's a lot of lovely energies over this next week that are supporting us in moving into our next places, our next areas of growth. There could even be a sense of you're ready. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for next steps and new directions. And we're ready to step towards more of ourselves that could even feel easier to integrate. After all the intense work, especially in January with the retrogrades, you could feel like some things are clearing out, that there is more of a sense of your priorities and what matters to you. You could have a sense of where you're ready to also allow some things to just flow, to let them be, to not force anything, and to trust a process that you're in. So we'll be talking about more of these themes in today's podcast episode and discussing how we can make the most of these energies at this time. Now, as I am recording this podcast on Wednesday, February 16th, we have a lot of big energies as this is the Leo full moon at 28 degrees. And we also have the sun in Aquarius and the moon squaring the nodes at 27 degrees. And this is always a checking in point where there could be something big that gets your attention. There could be something that is illuminated or highlighted. There could be something you're feeling that comes up that really brings your energy into some choices. And whenever we have the sun squaring the nodes, the north node at 27 of Taurus, the south node at 27 of Scorpio, we're looking at where our energy is being directed and if it feels correct for you. If it is honoring where you're ready to grow and go next. And if not, if something doesn't feel that it's in alignment, you're going to feel that. There can be a discomfort or a disease. There could be something that comes up that is asking you to take a good hard look at a part of yourself or a part of your life. There could be energies that are coming forward that maybe you pushed away or pushed off and now it's front and center. This energy is about choices and it's always different for each of us, of course, but we're being asked to be very aware of the ways we're directing our energy towards what matters to us right now. Not what the world expects of you, not what you're doing for others, not what you have been committed to or where you've been obligated. This is not about what you're expecting of yourself. This is about taking a good hard look at what matters to you, at what you value, at what you need that is true for you now. And even though this energy is exact around February 16th, you could feel that you need time to think it through and to process more. And we're going to have those opportunities to do so, but there could be something that's coming up for you to really sit with, to really be aware of that allows you to connect to what you want. And that's part of the North Node in Taurus is what do you want? What do you need that is essential to you? And again, it isn't about external energies. It isn't about what others are perceiving or thinking. It's not about the shoulds. It also is about separating your energy out from other people's attachments to you, where you could have things that you're involved in, you're committed to, that are important to you. But this energy is about clearing that out of your space. And I'm seeing it actually in the head space very strongly. The mental energies that we are always engaged in and circling, it's clearing out the mental overload And it's dropping into that heart space. It's the heart chakra, but I'm also feeling it connected to the solar plexus as well. And that's part of the Leo full moon energy. So we're stepping away from over-reliance on the mind and that kind of decision making and going into more of the heart and the energetics of what feels correct for you now, what feels satisfying, what is opening you up. And that is one way to look at how to navigate these energies, because as the sun in Aquarius squares the north node and the south node, these are the energies of growth. These are the energies of understanding where you're not wanting to go back. You're not looking to carry anything forward. Something is complete and done in your experience, which is being highlighted through that south node in Scorpio. And then that north node is asking you to really understand what matters to you. And I feel like this is much more of a personal experience. This is much more internal, where you could have a sense of even, it feels like a warmth. What warms the heart, or what warms the solar plexus? What helps to thaw away something that maybe has kept you frozen, that has kept you paralyzed? And you could have a sense of where your energy is being called forward, because there's something there for you to embrace, open up to, and connect with that could be very new and different. And it's looking at where that energy lifts you up to a higher place. And I also feel it again as this warmth, like a warming of the heart, a warming of what feels good. Perhaps it has like a coziness to it, but there's something here that we're meant to really tap into within ourselves, that it's almost like nobody else can touch it. Nobody else can really go into that place except you. It's personal in that way. It's something that you're discovering for yourself, that's showing you more of what you need and what you want that matters to you right now. Whereas a year ago or 6 months ago, maybe it wasn't something that even called to you. But there is a pressure here that's really opening us up to a new pathway, a new direction. And it could feel a bit challenging, where we have a lot of fixed energies right now. Now, the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. We have 6 planets and points in the fixed signs right now, not including the transiting moon in Leo. So we have North Node and Uranus in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio, and 3 planets in Aquarius, Mercury, Saturn, and the Sun. And so this energy is especially intense until February 18th, when the Sun will move into Pisces. But I want to talk about this fixed energy really quickly, because it's so dominant right now. And what the fixed energies are looking for are stability, reliability, what you can count on, what is known. And these are the energies that don't want change and don't want to budge unless it's something you're choosing. And I'm remembering back a few years ago when I used to do individual sessions, and I had a few people who had in their charts a grand cross in fixed signs. And that meant that they had all 4 fixed signs in their chart interacting in a way that was at times difficult to work with, because again, those fixed signs don't want to move. They can resist change. And the message I received for them was that when you visualize a cross, and that is, of course, a vertical line and a horizontal line crossing, you imagine yourself sitting in the very middle, the very center of that intersection. And you're sitting there and you're opening up, blossoming like a lotus flower. and allowing yourself to simply trust whatever energy is calling to you the strongest, whatever you're feeling or sensing. And there is no wrong answer. There is nothing here that you're going to miss or not do correctly, but it's simply allowing yourself to come into a place of stillness where you're not feeling pulled in multiple directions. You're not feeling that tug of war. You're just sitting in the center, very peaceful and still, opening up and allowing yourself to trust whatever is coming forward, whatever is speaking to you. And this can be a helpful way to move through something that feels paralyzing, where you don't know what to choose, you don't know what to do. Again, the pressure can be quite intense, but this is a way to come into center, come into your full energy, and simply allow yourself to listen and be receptive to what you're ready to understand or hear next. And it can temper down that tug of war or even the stagnation of not knowing what to do next. So this would be a time frame where you really understand that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of big energies. There's a lot that can be pulling at you in multiple areas of your life right now. You could feel that tug of war. You could also be paralyzed into thinking, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to miss out on something. I don't want to make a wrong choice. All those places that our minds go. But this is where you come into the stillness of your own beingness, and you will always have exactly what you need. You will hear the right answer. You will understand whatever energy is stronger for you and what is speaking to you the most. So this is where, when we have big energies, especially with the fixed signs that can resist movement, it's wonderful to find a way to go into your energy, simply allow it to be. And that's where you could also feel things falling away. And again, I'm getting that visual of a lotus flower blossoming. And as it blossoms, the petals open up and they're not as tight. They're not closed down or gripping to a perceived way of being or a perceived sense of safety. They're opening up, and it's almost like the energy right now needs to open up and be a bit fuller. So if you can visualize that lotus flower opening up, and I'm getting this funny visual that some of you are not wanting the lotus flower to blossom because of a perception of letting go. It's almost like there could be a hardness that sets in, very rigid, very much about, I'm not going to allow anything to take me off center or rock me, or it's almost a defense mechanism. So simply trust whatever you're feeling or sensing around this, because as the energies open up, it's going to be easier to exhale and let go. It's not going to feel as tight. It's interesting because we can be unconsciously comfortable with the tightness, almost like when you don't realize you're clenching your fist or your jaw, or that muscles have been really tight in your body for so long that it just becomes normal. This is where there is an opportunity here to gently soften, open up, allow, and that it brings in new energy, new oxygen, new life force. And it's going to be something that feels okay, almost like there's relief here. So trust whatever that feels like for you, especially over the next few days, February 16th, 17th, 18th, that if you feel a tightening here or a paralyzing energy, that you're being asked to sit in the middle of that energy, of that grand cross of the fixed signs. Allow it to open up and blossom, and then see what comes to your attention and to your awareness that is right on time, that you're exactly ready to receive and trust. So when these energies are quite dynamic, it can be confusing and we can want to shut down or keep things out. but we're entering a time period of more movement and flow. And this is also going to be strong as Jupiter in Pisces sextiles Uranus and Taurus at 11 degrees. Now this begins February 17th and it lasts until the 21st. And that's because of how slow moving these energies are. And they are both outer planets. So they're both supporting us in being able to open, trust, allow, exhale. These are feminine energies as well that are more receptive and intuitive. And this is where you could also feel new inspirations arriving, something coming through or coming in that lifts you up, that gives you a sense of understanding, perhaps a sense of what you're ready to trust next. And what is showing up for you, especially if you have planets or points in the earth signs or water signs between 11 and 12 degrees. So that's where the energy is the strongest. 11 and 12 degrees of the earth signs and the water signs. And this is where the energy is helping you to follow what you're ready to do next. It's a very interesting energy because it is quite receptive, but it almost feels like it's lifting us up and moving us into something new. It feels very creative and artistic. You could feel that you're in the flow of a creation process, that you're in the flow of something expressive or artistic. This is also an opening into more of your intuitive energies and your spiritual gifts, where that Jupiter in Pisces is opening us up to the higher realms and to more of what we're ready to receive. And then the energy is directed towards Uranus in Taurus, which helps us understand what to do with it, how to use it, how to make it into something real, but also to look at what we haven't seen before, where there could be something that connects for you. Maybe you have a deeper intuitive knowingness coming through. Something is aligning. Something is easily connecting. This is where it could feel like you have an understanding that maybe was just out of reach before. Like it wasn't quite in focus. And now there's something that connects and you're like, oh, I see it. I get it. Okay. And there could even be support here for the next steps, for what you're ready to move into, and it could be quite easy. Almost like I'm getting this visual of if there was something that you were really cautious about or really reluctant or hesitant about, this is going to lift you up out of that energy and open you up to something. I mean, this is spirit coming through. This is something around divine timing and energies opening up and there being really lovely connections that could just feel good. This is certainly a feel good energy. So in your natal chart, you're identifying where this transiting Jupiter in Pisces is, specifically at 11 and 12 degrees, and how it's connecting with transiting Uranus in Taurus at 11 degrees, and what is connecting and clicking for you that is an opening. This is an opening energy, and it's opening you up even to more of what you're feeling. So going back to what I was saying about feeling any kind of paralyzation, feeling like you're resistant, you don't know what to do, this Jupiter in Pisces is delivering a message that is going to help you understand some next steps, something that is for your best and highest good, a new way to grow, a new way to trust yourself and your intuition that is going to bear fruit. I mean, there's something here that is going to manifest, and that's part of the energy of the earth signs, where Uranus in Taurus is manifesting things for us just like that. And here comes Jupiter that brings in something that maybe, again, you didn't consider, or you pushed it away, or you were hesitant or cautious, or you didn't know what to do with it. Over this next week, there could be doors opening. There could be something coming forward or opening up that is very fluid. It has an ease to it. So it's a good time to stay open to these developments. Now, this energy is very soft. It isn't going to be loud or in your face. It's a very soft, receptive energy, and it could be something that is hinting at you, a whisper, a nudge, the universe pulling your energy in a certain direction or offering you something that you might have to simply trust in the moment what that feels like, but you're going to understand that there is an opportunity here. There's something showing up that is for your best and highest good. And I feel like you won't miss it. Meaning I feel like it's something that will be big enough that you'll see it. And because this energy lasts for a few days and because it's the outer planets, it is more significant and it's going to bring forward something that could help with any area of life that you've been stuck in, anything that maybe has been hard or difficult. Again, there's an elevation energy here where it lifts you up out of the mind, lifts you away from any type of internal battle or turmoil or something you've been spinning in. And it shows you an opening here that could be an easy yes. An easy, yeah, let's try it. Yeah, let's go for it. Sure, why not? It has a lightness to it. So again, it's a very soft energy, but it has a lightness, it has progress, it has movement and flow, and you could simply just be feeling that in yourself. You could feel like things are finally moving and that you're no longer in anything that was holding you back or difficult in some capacity. So again, that energy is the strongest February 17th until the 21st. The sun is going to enter Pisces on February 18th. That happens at 11:42 a.m. That's Eastern time. And this is the transition into the final sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the third and final water sign, and it is a point of accumulation. Pisces is where everything comes together in order to dissolve and transcend. Transcendence and allowing something to shift into a new form is part of the Pisces experience, where we practice letting go, we practice detachment, and then we can also go higher into what we've been learning through certain energies and experiences. So I have been talking a lot about Pisces, as I just did a show for you on Monday, February 14th, around the upcoming Pisces portal and how we're going to have Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. And we're going to continue discussing these Pisces themes, which quite honestly is a nice break from constantly discussing the Capricorn energies. And the Pisces themes are going to help us see what we're ready to let go of, where you could feel parts of yourself really shifting and being lightened. It's like lightening the load, no longer carrying, worrying, or being stressed about certain things. The Pisces energy helps you detach, helps you step away from what has been too heavy or burdensome. And as the sun enters Pisces, it's going to further highlight what we're looking to energetically remove from our lives. And this could be even more pivotal for you right now because of the Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces conjunction. There's going to be a lot of Pisces themes here as we move into March and April, so we will keep discussing this. But essentially over this next week, you want to stay aware of what no longer resonates, what no longer calls to you, where you could just feel meh, no thanks, not for me, not interested. That would be a sign of where your energy has shifted. Pisces is the energy of the two fishes, one swimming up and one swimming down, symbolizing our connection to both the spiritual realms and the earthly realms, the energies of a dance between various parts of our energies that are connected and grounded here in this physical reality, while also remembering we're more than just this physical experience. And part of the Pisces mastery is knowing when to step away from our ego, to step away from where we're heavily invested or controlling something, to look at where we can apply more spiritual understanding and perspectives to what we're going through. So the Pisces energy teaches us where to bring in more of our own spiritual understandings, and also reminds us that sometimes our greatest power is in detaching, is in not being too caught up in everything that's happening so that we can continually balance our energies between the physical and spiritual realms. So the Pisces themes can show up as being very much in the emotional world, being very empathetic, being a strong feeler, wanting to serve and do a lot for people, really being aware of what you can do to improve someone else's world or their life. Pisces is a giver. It wants you to feel good. It wants you to have what you want. Pisces is the energy of even being selfless, but that can come at a high price if that is a pattern that's constantly on a loop, because then you can start to feel taken advantage of. Pisces can have a hard time establishing boundaries, and it can feel like everyone is a taker, and you can have these unconscious loops of over-giving without those strong boundaries in place. So part of the Pisces experience is understanding where you can have an open, caring, giving heart, where you can be of service and connected to something that feels good, but without the self-sacrifice, without overdoing it, overgiving, or assuming that you have to take a lesser role. Because sometimes that Pisces energy will shrink itself down in order to fit into someone else's container, in order to fit into what someone else expects of you or what they want you to do. It can be quite submissive when it's not in its strength or power. There's even an innocence and a naivete that can show up with Pisces energies because of the idealism, the dreamer quality, the perception of seeing things as you want them to be rather than as they are. So the Pisces energy is essentially learning how to connect with the physical world and the human experience in a healthy way without having to self-sacrifice or idealize, and also to watch any of those escapism tendencies to see where they're healthy or where they are not. Because part of the Pisces dance is that you don't always want to be in the real world for too long. You don't always want to be grounded and taking care of the day-to-day details. You're more interested in the creative energies, what you can do that feels like you're free. And I think that would be a good Pisces keyword is freedom. Freedom to be in your own energy, in your own world, in your own realms. Freedom to be by yourself. It's also the energy of needing time and space to yourself. Being more introverted at times, being again in your own world, whether that is creative, whether that's something you're doing through music or reading or video games. I mean, we have so many choices these days around where we can go to escape the real world. So that can be a big theme at this time as the sun voyages through Pisces, and we have very strong Pisces energies in effect here for a few months. It's important to look at what you need to balance your energy, what you need that supports your desires to step away from perhaps your responsibilities or commitments, but to do so in a way that is good for your energy, that also helps you return back to the real world as needed. So keep that in mind that now we're in a dance here between what we can do to balance our energies between the physical and spiritual realms, as well as how we can navigate this time with a healthy sense of self-care that doesn't take a dive into the lower expressions of Pisces, which can be an inability to show up, an inability to go to work, an inability to pay the bills or take care of your responsibilities. Pisces is about escapism and abandonment at times, where you don't want to deal with things, so you just ghost them. You just ghost out of a situation. And there are always lessons to be learned around that, because energy comes back around, and then you can be on the receiving end of that same experience. Pisces can also go into some of the addictions that can come from a desire to ground yourself. It can also be a coping mechanism, depending on how your nervous system deals with the real world, deals with all these energies all around us. And so that Pisces energy can be looking for something reliable, something to turn to that feels good. And this can be part of the addictions. This can be part of essentially needing to calm your nervous system and take care of yourself, but it depends on whether that is coming from a healthy, conscious place or an unhealthy place. So this would be something to assess in yourself, especially if you have very strong Pisces energies. In fact, I'm remembering another client that I connected with a number of years ago who had, I think it was 4 planets in Pisces in the 12th house. And I asked her, how do you deal with the real world and what is that like for you? Because so much of your energy isn't always here. It's not always grounded in this experience. And that was one of her biggest issues in her life. And that was where she was changing some of her habits, some of her patterns and addictions that she knew she was using in order to cope with reality. And it was going to be part of her ongoing life lessons. It's not always a quick fix. It's not always something that we can expect ourselves to shift or change in a day. Part of her energetic journey in this lifetime was the energetic management of her habits, especially because she really preferred to work alone in her own studio, go into her art, and she was having a very hard time dealing with other people and other responsibilities. And this led to her alcoholism and some other unhealthy patterns that she was trying to improve. And she had a very genuine desire to change these habits in herself. But because of how she runs energy, it was something that she needed support with, and she had to do it on her own timeline. So understand that we all have different ways of moving through every energy, and we all have different ways of experiencing these energies. And this is where astrology becomes very personal, because you start to see, oh, this is how I deal with Pisces energy. Oh, this is how I work with Aquarius energy, Capricorn energy, Taurus energy, and it can help you understand how you're energetically designed to move through some of these energies, but also to make some new choices for yourself. And for her, the transition she was moving through was how to shift her energy to a place where she could be grounded and take care of what she needed to do on a daily basis, which was harder for her than it is for other people. And to just accept that that's part of her reality and her experience in this lifetime. So we all have our own unique experiences, of course, but then it becomes amplified and bigger when we have very strong themes in an astrology chart. And because we're going to have strong Pisces energies this year, we just want to be more conscious of where we go, where you go mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, when you're overwhelmed, when there's a lot happening, when you're done dealing with things in the real world and you need a break. How do you take a break that's good for you? That's good for your nervous system, that's good for your body. How do you take a break without harming yourself or destroying something or abandoning everything? This is where there can be extremes, where you're like, I'm done with all of this, and you just want to leave and take off and not deal with it ever again. Those are going to be some of the big energies here during Pisces season. And the more conscious we are around it, the better. And especially when we're aware that, okay, it's all right to have a bad day. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay when a lot of emotions come up or you're having a big experience. It's only one day. And you let yourself off the hook. You give yourself what you need, whether that is downtime or watching a ton of shows on Netflix or movies or whatever it might be. You do what you need to do to regulate and calm yourself so that you can handle what you need to take care of without throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And that could be one of the themes that we're going to see as well in the world at large, is people who are just exasperated, overwhelmed. They don't have a way to regulate or manage themselves in a healthy manner, and they want to disappear and be complete and have everything be over. Again, this is an extreme here, but it's something that you want to look at in yourself, especially as these energies move through us into March and April, is that if you're reaching that point where you can't take one more thing, you have a very big fatigue going on. There's a heavy fatigue, and it's something to be aware of so that you even have like a toolkit or next steps that help you manage it. Again, it can be as simple as, I'm going to take the rest of today off, not expect too much of myself, give myself a mental break, allow myself to do what I need to do and then come back to it tomorrow. And this could also be something that you're needing to work with if you live with somebody. If you have kids, parents, friends, roommates, they could reach this point of fatigue, overwhelm, and a heaviness because the energies are so big. And that's really what we're feeling. We're feeling some very big, overpowering energies at times that can feel like we don't know what to do. This is also where you can feel very discouraged, very depressed, very heavy, emotionally heavy and stuck because the energies that are moving through us right now continue to be significant. And one of the best things you can do is connect to your spiritual self, your soul's messages, your higher self, and have a way to work with that part of your energy that will help you feel stronger and clearer, that will remind you of what's important and help you step away from things that are only temporary. And that is one of the gifts of Pisces, is that it reminds us that everything's temporary. Everything moves through. Everything transitions and moves into a new form. But sometimes when those waves are really big, it can be too much. So there is going to be a need here to continually manage your own energy, your own emotions, and to be aware of what's coming up for you and what the deeper message is. Maybe it's simply going for a walk to clear your head or to clear out the energy, to clear your aura, to do something that moves the energy. Sometimes it's the opposite, where all you want to do is sit on the couch and you don't want to even pick up your legs to walk to the fridge. You know, it can be a full spectrum of things, but I feel like we're going to have some extremes here with this Pisces influence, and it's going to be important for you to remember what is essential and that you have tools to work through these energies as they come up. Now, over this next week, we also have Mars and Venus traveling together in Capricorn, and we also have Pluto in Capricorn. So there is a grounding influence here around what we are focused on and what we're ready to take forward. This is the energy of following through on your commitments, making progress, looking at what you love, what you enjoy, what is important to you, and how you're ready to continually take steps that matter. Mars and Venus in Capricorn are both going to sextile Neptune in Pisces at 22 degrees on February 23rd and 24th. And this will feel quite grounding. This will bring you back to center and give you a sense of, okay, just do this for today. Just focus on moving these few things forward, or only take care of what is essential. Now, we're also going to have Mercury in Aquarius moving quite fast, as Mercury is still in his shadow zone until February 25th, where he goes to 10 degrees of Aquarius. So what this means is that there could be some things that are now making more sense. There's things that are coming up that you're receiving downloads around or clarity with, and it could be that whatever you've been contemplating and working through since late December starts to take a new shape or a new form, where anything that was delayed, it didn't happen, or there were things that maybe you thought you'd work on or you thought you'd express. It's like anything that maybe you thought was pushed away, it could come back in a way that's much more grounded, clear, and simple, where there's this sense of you can say what you need to say, and maybe it's not the whole diary. It's not everything you've been thinking. It's something that gets to the heart of an issue and is very descriptive in what matters right now. And I'm certainly feeling this as the reprogramming of the throat chakra. I mean, we've done so much reprogramming and so much has been transformed that it could feel like you surprise yourself. That's what I'm feeling around this energy. Almost like you surprise yourself in what you say, in what you express. And it comes out very clear. Almost like you say the words and then it takes a minute and your mind agrees. And I know this is a little bit backwards because typically you want to make sure you know what you're saying first. But I feel like this is the new energy coming through where it's like you say something and then you realize, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm really glad I said that. Something is in reverse here. Something is coming through that is showing you how much you've changed or what has been cleared out. Almost like you say a new sentence or new words that you haven't said before in that way. A bit like, oh, I haven't heard myself describe it like that before, or I haven't said those words before. That's very interesting. So this is where there could be a freshness in what you're communicating and saying. It could even feel easier. Again, I'm feeling like things have cleared away, and I'm feeling like this throat chakra energy, it feels quite fresh. I'm seeing a lot of white energy around it that feels very clear, clean, pure. And it's also connected to more of what is true for you now. So there has been the realignment and the reprogramming. And again, you could find yourself saying things or expressing something that you haven't done before. You haven't said it that way before, but it just feels accurate and it feels right on. And I suppose that would be a good way to summarize the energies right now, that you could feel that more is opening up, that is essentially clear for you, and it just has that flow, that movement, that ease, and that there's more moving forward now that was previously stuck or stagnant. So keep in mind that visualization I shared about sitting in the middle of a cross. The grand cross in fixed signs is specifically what I was thinking of astrologically, but you could see this too as just sitting in the middle of anything and you don't know where to go or what to do next, but you're opening up to the energies. You're blossoming like that lotus flower, and you're allowing the information to speak to you, which you can trust. Especially with that Jupiter and Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus energies, which are helping us move forward and helping us move into some new experiences that we're really ready for right now. And speaking of new experiences, I wanted to get back to some of you who have asked me if I have ever done any kind of monthly lunar calendar experience or anything around working with the lunar cycles. And that is actually not something that I do. I don't have that as a priority in my work or in my business. But I have someone really excellent to refer you to if you want to open up to more of these energies. Her name is Lori Reising, and she focuses on the embodiment of energies. She works with the astrology, but also the galactic evolutionary energies. She looks at how we can work with this dance of energy in a way that's really supportive, nourishing, and grounding, and very personal for what you're moving through. And she has a monthly online circle that works with the current energies, and she guides you through the energies and how to embody them even more. So she helps with how you can practice intention, work with rituals, what it means to really dive into what your body is speaking to you about. She helps with the astral travels and does a lot with higher consciousness practices. So I'm going to refer you to her because I highly recommend her teaching style. She has a lot of energy, and her offerings are about movement and how to move your body more, how to open up, especially, for example, how tight our hips get from sitting all day, or opening up our heart space. So she does a lot of these practices, and she does them throughout the month, and she does something different for every call. So I'm going to put the link below. If this is something that would deeply support you right now and help you work with the energies and work with your body as well, and you can check out the particulars and the details of this monthly circle that she offers. Her website is therawandwildhearts.com, and this is called the Wild Heart One Circle membership. And it is a monthly experience of the energies, how to embody them and how to work with them. And I'll tell you that Lori is very down to earth, and she calls it like it is. When things are hard, she talks about when it's hard, when they're emotional, when they're big, when they're energizing. So this is someone who's very down to earth with these quantum energies, and is going to be a wonderful way for you to get unstuck and to essentially find greater harmony within yourself and with these universal flows. So again, I'll put the link below if you want to check it out. I highly recommend. I think she's excellent. I have experienced her teachings. She's very dynamic, lots of great energy, and I feel like there's a lot here that could help you transform and also step into more of your own light and mastery. And as I mentioned, I just did a show for you on Monday, February 14th about the Jupiter conjunct Neptune and Pisces energies. I'm going to do a part 2 for you on Monday, February 21st. And this is because of how significant these energies are in helping us remove parts of ourselves, our energies, and our soul experiences that we're done with. So we're going to continue with that conversation. I have some more information to share with you, as well as some more channeled messages around the significance of this strong Pisces theme. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. It is a delight to connect with you, and I'm very grateful for your time, energy, and presence. I'll be back with another podcast episode every Monday and Wednesday, and you can find more on my YouTube channel. I also have my latest offerings over at mollymccord.online, where you'll find my astrology courses and business development programs. Wishing you a beautiful ride over this next week. I hope the energies feel supportive and encouraging, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.